You know that betrayal is not an accident. It is a choice, and this choice carries its consequences. If there was honesty, you wouldn't be here. If there was loyalty, you wouldn't have doubts. If there was integrity, you wouldn't need to wonder what was undone. What happens to the one who betrays? They hide, they lie, they think everything will remain a secret. And you, waiting, analyzing, justifying, remaining in uncertainty. There is no confusion, there is a clear pattern. They do what they need to protect themselves, while you try to understand. This person denies, forgets, smiles, and pretends. And you observe, wait, try to decipher, but remain. The truth is simple. Traitors are not smart. They repeat the same cycle. And when the masks fall, the weight of the truth is inevitable. You don't need to chase after answers. Time will do that. The revelation comes when least expected. The bond only exists because you sustain it. And this chain can be broken, not by force, but by the choice to not feed what does not feed you. As long as you are available, the dynamic continues. You are not the only one to feel the pain of betrayal. What the other carries also weighs. They may think that controlling the scenario is safe, but this safety is illusory. The truth has its own logic and manifests itself without warning. Patience is your ally. What was done in the shadows will be exposed to the light. You don't need to rush. You don't need to despair. The cost of betrayal always comes to light. The reality has already been presented. Betrayal is not an isolated event. It is a series of intertwined choices, forming a tangled web of lies and omissions. Each passing day, each word left unsaid, adds a layer to the emptiness that sets in, and you observe all this from afar. The sensation of being a spectator of your own life, their distant look, the lack of emotion in their words, all of this echoes in your mind. You try to decipher signs, but each attempt only reinforces the cycle of uncertainty. They smile as if nothing is happening, but you know that this smile is just a mask, a facade. What happens in the shadows remains hidden but accumulates, like dust under the carpet. When betrayal arises, it is not just a physical act, it is a moral rupture, a silent declaration that the other does not value what you represent. They make promises with the same ease with which they break them. And you? You find yourself trapped in the web of memories, moments that now seem distant, distorted by pain. The other seeks comfort where there is no commitment, sees you as the security, the anchor amidst the storm. But while you wait, while you justify the unjustifiable, the cycle renews. He sinks into the routine of disloyalty, while you drown in your doubts. Think, how many times have you found yourself questioning your worth? Numbers, messages, fleeting glances. Each of these details transforms into evidence that you carry, not because you want to, but because reality imposes this burden on you. You become a detective in a story that should be simple. Instead of trust, doubt becomes your constant companion. And when you are finally confronted with the truth, the ground opens up. It's easy to blame the other. But what about your choice to remain? You have also become complicit in this dynamic. The bond persists because you did not break it. And even in the face of betrayal, the internal struggle is inevitable. You weigh the pros and cons as if this could change something. You seek answers where there are none. Each justification brings more pain. Each unanswered question weakens the connection even further. While the traitor floats between denial and indifference, you are trapped in a cycle of reflection. A cycle that offers no way out. Moments of anger arise but soon dissipate. They are stifled by the fear of the unknown. The idea of losing what you have generates an irrational attachment. But what is this what you have? It is a comforting illusion. The other person structures their life around conveniences, while you navigate reality with dreams. What you consider love might actually be a disguised prison. That person disguises, minimizes, promises change, and you listen, wait, forgive, but still remain. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and you wonder if you are still living or just surviving. The smile that used to be warm is now just a reflection of the superficiality of what was built. What should be a home now feels like a cell. Patience becomes a burden, and the wait for answers leads to an abyss of disillusionment. When the truth finally emerges, it doesn't bring relief, but an unbearable weight. The loose words need to be gathered, but the truth has its own timing. The revelation is not a consolation, it is a call to action. You can choose to stay or leave. There is no magic in the act of choosing. The cost of betrayal manifests in many forms. It could be the loss of trust, the destruction of intimacy, or the devastation of dreams. What remains is an echo of what was, a shadow of what could have been. And when you finally decide it's not worth continuing, the liberation will not be easy. Each step is painful, but necessary. There are no prizes for prolonged sacrifice. There are no rewards for waiting for a change that never comes. The choice to move forward is yours. What you decide to sustain is a reflection of who you have become, and the reality has already been presented. You must face it head-on and recover, because the light that shines at the end of the tunnel is not a promise, it is a possibility. And only you can decide if you want to reach it. Each moment you hesitate is a wasted opportunity. Time, that silent enemy, does not wait. It presses on, indifferent to your pain. Life continues its cycle, but you remain stuck in a moment, battling against the tide of your own choices. Consider if this is truly living. You have become a spectator of your own disillusionment. Memories no longer bring comfort. They are like echoes of a distant past, distorted by disappointment. Once full of hope, now what remains is emptiness. Each lost smile, each touch that faded away, all reduced to fragments of a story that no longer unfolds. Meanwhile, the other seems to move on. They smile and enjoy themselves, as if the betrayal never existed. You wonder if you were just a pawn in a game, where the rules were changed without prior notice, and the pain you feel? It's just a constant reminder of your fragility, a scar that seems to grow as they drift away. You can observe how these feelings transform into an internal storm. Anger, sadness, frustration, they dance around you like shadows of a past that refuses to disappear. You try to rationalize, you try to put emotions in a box, but they escape slippery and relentless. The unspoken conversations echo in your mind. What could have been said? What could have changed? And at the same time, this need for understanding emerges, not just of what happened, but why. Why did you accept this? The answer is within you, rooted in your beliefs and values. The idea of love you built, the narrative that creates the illusion that it's worth the wait. That change can happen even when the evidence screams otherwise. You find yourself forcing yourself to accept a situation that is unsustainable. Decisions made under emotional pressure are not real decisions. They are justifications, adaptations to what life imposed. And the crucial question arises, do you want to live like this, in a state of constant waiting? Life should not be a test, it should not be a series of trials you must pass. One day you realize, what was built is not love, it is a prison. And escaping from this prison requires courage. Not a courage that comes from outside, but one that arises from the recognition that you have the power to change your own narrative. By taking back control, you begin to see the chains you placed on yourself, chains that kept you a prisoner in a vicious cycle. The key to freedom is not in the hands of another, it is in yours. And when you finally accept this, a new horizon opens. It is not about revenge or resentment, it is about liberation. Letting go means abandoning the weight you have carried for so long. It means allowing yourself the right to be happy again. The days may be dark, the road may seem long, but the possibility of rewriting your story is liberating. Every step taken towards your truth is a step away from betrayal and pain. The small victories begin to accumulate, a look in the mirror that reveals a new strength, a lightness that once seemed unattainable. And this new phase is not comfortable. It is challenging. It is confronting the pain and not running from it. It is understanding that pain is part of the journey, but it does not define who you are. This pain can teach you. It can show paths you never considered. When you stop feeding illusions, reality presents itself with clarity. This process is not linear. It has ups and downs. Moments of doubt arise like old shadows trying to infiltrate your newly discovered light. You must remain vigilant. Do not be swayed by thoughts that it was all in vain. Every experience is a lesson. Betrayal, though painful, becomes a form of awakening. It reveals who is truly by your side. It reveals the resilience you possess. And when you finally decide to break the cycle, the feeling of lightness is almost palpable. It's like letting go of a burden that you didn't realize you were carrying. New connections become possible. New relationships flourish based on honesty and respect. Saying no to what no longer serves you is an act of self-care. You realize that cycles of betrayal do not define your worth. Now you walk into uncharted territory. It is a bittersweet freedom. The choice to move forward is yours, and with that comes a new determination. There is no room for regrets, only for learning. New experiences await you, and you are stronger than ever. You no longer need to wonder where you went wrong. The choice to leave the past behind is liberating. And when you reflect on all of this, the truth becomes clear. You have become the most authentic version of yourself, and the reality has already been presented. This new version of you does not emerge from a place without pain. It is, in fact, a patchwork quilt made from the experiences you have lived. Patches of betrayal, distrust, and despair now intertwine with new moments of self-discovery, strength, and empowerment. Life, this complex tapestry, is woven by your choices. Each person who crosses your path becomes a new thread in this weave, and you realize that you can no longer allow traumas to shape what will come next. Looking at the past is necessary, but it should not be where you reside. The shadows of what was do not need to determine the light of what can be. The other side of this journey brings to the surface buried feelings, not just anger, but also deep sadness. Sadness for all that could have been. Memories of moments that seemed eternal now echo an illusion. When you say goodbye to these memories, it is not an act of forgetting, but rather of recognizing that they are not your only narrative. Sadness is an invitation to understand what was lost, but also to recognize the strength that came with that loss. Pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. It teaches that vulnerability is necessary for the construction of new connections. When you allow yourself to feel fully, you unveil a new horizon of empathy, not only for yourself, but for others as well. And each time you look around, you see a world full of people who also carry their scars. Each of them, like you, is seeking meaning, seeking freedom amidst pain. Human experiences connect you to them. You begin to realize that shared vulnerability can create bonds stronger than any facade of perfection. You find yourself in deep conversations with strangers who, by sharing their stories, reveal their weaknesses and strengths. It is in this space of authenticity that true connection begins to flourish. It is no longer about superficial impressions, but about the raw and naked truth of who we are. These encounters become the redemption you didn't know you needed. Each laugh, each shared tear, each understanding look becomes a new foundation in the construction of your renewed identity. The idea of love transforms. You no longer seek an unattainable ideal, but learn to appreciate love in its simplest and sincerest forms. The love that requires effort, dialogue, and patience. The love that does not hide in the shadows, but presents itself with all its flaws and beauties. Thus, you discover that some relationships are ready to flourish while others were left behind for a reason. This understanding brings peace. You don't need to force anything. What is meant to be will be. But with clarity comes responsibility. It is your choice to maintain the connections that nurture your soul, or cut the ones that drain your energy. Each relationship is filtered through what you truly want, and this is not selfishness, it is self-care. By setting clear boundaries, you teach others how you should be treated. The reality is that you are no longer complicit in emotional betrayal. Instead, you become an advocate for integrity and respect. Sometimes the pain resurfaces. Old wounds may reopen. A gesture, a misunderstood word, and the past can present itself like a ghost. But now you know. You are no longer a victim. You can stop and breathe. You can choose how to react. Take a step back and observe your emotions without being overwhelmed. This control becomes a powerful tool, and each episode of pain transforms into an opportunity to reaffirm your worth. Time may seem like a treacherous ally, but in reality, it is a silent healer. It teaches that healing takes time, and that each lived experience contributes to the formation of your true self. The process is not linear. What matters is the determination to move forward despite the difficulties. You carry with you the lessons hard learned, but also the hope that the future brings new beginnings. As you explore new possibilities, you discover there are loves that do not require sacrifice, relationships that encourage growth, that celebrate your achievements. Healthy love is one that nurtures and does not consume. It is a love that promotes freedom, not imprisonment. Slowly, you find yourself welcoming the unknown. The adventure of opening up to new experiences brings a sense of renewal. It is no longer about what you lost, but about what you still can gain. Each step is an affirmation of your personal power. You are no longer merely a spectator. You are the author of your story. And when you are finally ready to look to the future, know that every small step counts. Each day is a new chance to rewrite your narrative. The reality has already been presented, and you accept it. Now, what remains is to live with authenticity, courage, and an open heart.